get the conversation going with folks, and then set the stage and let them know that marketing is going to be coming down the pipeline.
There are millions of real estate investors out there, and most are stuck with just a couple of properties. They want financial freedom, but their small portfolio ends up costing them more in time, effort, and money than it's worth. Getting out of the rat race seems harder than ever. This show will help you do more deals, better deals, and bigger deals. Finally, you'll be able to reach your income and lifestyle goals. How? By attracting and leveraging private money partners and their capital. Now get ready to raise more money, because here's your host, Dave Dubeau.
All right, so we're going to get started here with episode number 4. Make sure everything's working. 3, 2, 1. Well, hey again, Dave Dubeau here with episode number 4 of the How to Raise Capital 101 show. And this is episode 4 of a 9-part mini course that I'm doing, all about what I call my money partner formula, how you will be able to raise 6 figures within a matter of weeks and 7 figures within a matter of months without crossing the line with your not so friendly securities commission, without cold calling, without chasing after people, without coming across as desperate or needy. In fact, if I could wave the magic wand for you, we're actually going to get people coming to you curious about your deals. So that's what this is all about. And episode number 4 is very important, because here is where we're going to be taking our first kick at the can when it comes to marketing, when it comes to outreach, but we're going to do it very, very differently. We're going to reconnect with our target group of prospective investors before we start talking business. I call this classy capital connections, or another word for this is a warm-up campaign. So if you recall, over the previous 3 episodes, the first 3 lessons, we talked about our foundational phase of the money partner formula. And the first part was creating that list of your dream 200 prospective investors. That was in episode number 1, so you can review that if you haven't seen that already. Then we talked about creating your investor marketing hub, your online communication hub, your investor-focused website. That was part number 2 of that. And then in episode number 3, we talked about where the rubber really hits the road, and that is creating your $1 million investor presentation. So when people book a call with you, you can walk them through that. That's going to do 90% of the heavy lifting for you. It's going to be a system that's going to get you investors enrolled on a regular basis. So that is the foundation. Now we're getting into phase number 2. This is the launch phase of the money partner formula. And the first part of the launch phase is what I call, like I mentioned, these classy capital connections, or the warm-up campaign. So the best way to illustrate this is probably to show you what not to do. And this is something that, unfortunately, that I had to learn the hard way. It's a big mistake I made early on when I was first starting to raise capital. I fell for that old line, hey, find a good deal, the money will find you. So I had done a few deals under my own steam financially, ran out of cash, ran out of credit. Of course, that's when the perfect deal landed in my lap. And then I started really hustling to try to raise money the old-fashioned way, the way I'd heard about it, the way the gurus had told me. Just pick up the phone and start dialing for dollars. So I just started reaching out to everybody and anybody, and it just didn't work, right? So I started calling people, trying to pitch my deal over the phone. Rejection. That didn't work. I went out and I tried networking up a storm. That didn't work. I tried putting together a overview of the deal and emailing that to everybody I knew, spamming them basically. That definitely didn't work. In fact, all 3 of those things, all they succeeded in doing was turning off a lot of really good prospective investors. So long story short, I didn't raise the money I needed for that deal. I had to collapse the deal, got some major egg on my face, lost the nice little profit I was going to make on that deal there. And bottom line, the worst part of the whole thing was I actually turned off a lot of really good prospective investors because I was so clumsy, because I charged in like the bull in the china shop. So what we want to do is something very, very different. This is something that we do for our clients these days, and it works so much better. My goodness, I wish I had known me back then. I wish I had been a little bit more on the ball when it came to this. But better late than never. Better that you learn from my mistakes than make the same mistakes yourself. So here's what we want to do. This is the classy capital connection. So now that you've got your target group of prospective investors, your Dream 200 list, we want to break the ice with them first before we start talking real estate. And the way we do this is through a very simple 3-step email campaign. We send out 3 emails from your CRM system, drip, drip, drip. Let's say it goes out on a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Friday. And again, this is a beautiful thing of technology. It's going to take care of all of the heavy lifting for you, right? So here's what these 3 emails look like. The first email is just a basic general, just a written email like you see every day, all day long. However, here's the trick you got. Here's what you got to remember. We want to make this email seem very personal. So it's a very personal kind of an email. You're catching people up on what you have been up to for the last 3, 4, 5 years. So you want to kind of assume that most of the people on your target group haven't heard from you in a long time, and you want to catch them up on you and your life and what's been going on for you and the family. So a very personal kind of a message. I call this the Christmas letter from Aunt Nadine, because back in the day, my Aunt Nadine used to write Christmas letters every year, and she'd write a nice big long letter. She'd go down, get it photocopied. She'd stick it in the Christmas cards for all the friends and family and send it out to everybody. And this was in the 70s and the 80s. This is before the interwebs even existed. It's when long distance calls were super expensive. So this is how people communicated, was by mail every once in a while. So again, we get these letters. It'd be a great way to catch up on what she and her family have been up to. And it was really kind of nice. So we want to do a modern day email version of this, and so it'd be something like this. Hey, it's Dave. Chances are it's been a while since we connected. Just want to reach out, see how you're doing, catch up with you. And here's what I've been up to. So blah, 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 blah. Here's what's been going on with me. Here's what's going on with the family. Here's the fun stuff that's gone on, or a couple of trips that we've taken, yada, yada. Here's what the kids are up to. Remind them of names and ages and that kind of stuff. And then you want to wrap things up by saying something like this. Well, enough about me. How about you? Please hit reply to this email. Let me know how you're doing. I would love to catch up. Send that sucker off to all 200 people on your list, and then respond to people when they get back to you. Okay? So that would be, let's say that's on Monday. On Wednesday, we'd have the second message come out, and same kind of idea, but I recommend you do a different format. And I recommend that you do a short little video message. And it's going to have a much higher impact than just a regular written message. So you send out a video, same idea. Hey, it's Dave again. I thought I'd try something different. I thought I'd catch up with you via video and let you know what I've been up to. Blah, 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 blah. So you don't read the first email, but you kind of talk about the same kind of things. But the key thing is at the end of it, you say, hey, well, that's what I've been up to. How about you? If you haven't had a chance to get back to me, please hit reply to this message. I'd love to catch up. Send that sucker out. And then the third message is what we call the transition message. And this is where we're going to let people know that we're going to be switching gears and going from all warm and fuzzy and just catching up to letting them know what we're up to with real estate investing, that let them know that we're going to do a better job of staying in touch with regular communications, let them know that, hey, we're open to working with other people and helping them, take them along on the ride with us, partnering with people, sharing our expertise and our deals, combining with their capital to work together. All right. So we let people know that via the transition message. Again, I recommend this be a short little video message. Shouldn't be more than 45 seconds or a minute long. And again, you send that out. And then here's your job. Now we've set the stage. Now we've done everything that's getting people ready to go for the rest of the market that's going to be coming down. Now, the goal of this warm-up campaign is not to get you investor meetings booked. The goal of this warm-up campaign is to reconnect with people on a personal level first, get the conversation going with folks, and then set the stage and let them know that marketing is going to be coming down the pipeline. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So here's your job during the warm-up campaign. Because again, you can set this up. When we work with clients, we set this up in the CRM. It goes out automatically for them. And the only job they have is to respond to people when they reply to your emails. Very, very important that you respond fairly quickly and that you have a little bit of back and forth. Now, the beautiful thing is you don't need to write a big, long essay or anything. Chances are some of the people that get back to you are going to write big, long emails back to you, but you've already let them know what you're up to. So you just have to have a little bit of back and forth because there is capital in those reconnections. So make sure you respond right away and then keep track of the folks who have gotten back to you, because again, there is capital in those connections, and the people that have interacted with you, the people that have actually gotten back to you, these are the folks who are really, really keen. Well, maybe not keen to invest with you right away, but they are the most responsive. So we want to make sure that you segment these folks in your CRM system so we can give them a little extra TLC, tender loving care. Does that make sense? So that's the whole thing. We have the 3 communications going out over about a 1 week or maybe 10-day time frame, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So email 1, email 2, the transition message, drip, drip, drip. Then your job is to reconnect with people, is to actually interact with them when they respond back to you and keep track of the folks who have replied. All right, this is going to set you in great stead for everything else that comes down. Now, here's a quick case study. Here's an example. This is one of our clients, Heather. And when we started working with Heather, again, we did everything for her. We got her entire database put together and created and put up and set up in the CRM system. We got her whole website ready to go. We got her whole investor presentation ready to go, $1 million investor presentation. And then we also created her warm-up campaign and got that sent out for her. And all she had to do was answer emails. But like many of our clients, she was a little bit nervous about this because she'd never done anything like this before. Well, who has, right? This is something different. So she was a little bit nervous. She wasn't sure how it was going to work. She was kind of like the best kept secret amongst her friends and her family about what she was doing with real estate. Some of them had an idea she was doing something, but she didn't really talk about it or make a big deal about it. So she was kind of nervous about doing this whole thing. However, it worked very, very well for her. So I'd like you to listen to and watch this next little case study, and then I'll show you what the big lessons are from it. So pay attention to this if you would.
It's been a fun ride so far.
Yeah, I saw that from your email, so that's good. So you made some good reconnections?
Yes, I have. And that's been really fun. And even like people I know have sent me emails and I've learned all kinds of things about them.
Nice.
So it was really nice. People really took it as an invitation to share. Well, I got 3, which I thought was pretty good.
That is
so I have to follow up on those, obviously. They were from one friend of mine who knows that I invest. And she said to me, like, oh, way to go. This is great. Yeah, I'm interested. So I'm interested. So let's do, let's do
awesome.
something. Yeah. So that was very positive. And another woman who does some real estate investing, and she said, oh, way to go. Look at you go. Way to go, And then she said, I'm doing some stuff, but I'd be really interested to hear what you're doing. And, if the numbers make sense, I'm always interested, kind of thing. So that was good. Mm-hmm. And the other one was a woman I haven't talked to for a long time. And she said, well, I went and checked out your website and I'm really intrigued by what you're doing.
I love that example. So again, we saw there with Heather, she was nervous about doing this, but she actually enjoyed it. She had a lot of fun. She reconnected with a lot of people that she hadn't heard from in a long time. Some of them sent her nice, big, long replies. So that was great. I mean, it was really did a good job for reconnecting and warming people up. But what really happened for Heather was she actually had 3 people reach out and say some version of, hey, I'm really interested in this real estate thing that you're doing. I'd like to find out more. So that's why it's really important when you do this that you're prepared for people to reach out and say, hey, tell me more. So that's why having that $1 million investor presentation all ready to go is a good idea before you do this warm-up campaign. So warm them up, get them excited about hearing what you're up to with real estate investing. So the big idea is before we start pitching deals or talking about deals or anything like that, let's reconnect with people on a personal level first. Maybe you are that best kept secret amongst all your friends and family. It's up to us to get the word out. And this is the best way to get things started on the right track so that you can set yourself up for short-term and long-term success when it comes to raising capital. All right, so to leave you with some tangible to-dos, here's what I'm going to recommend for this step in the process, the whole Classy Capital Connections or the warm-up campaign. So the first thing you want to do is come up with a little outline of what you're going to be talking about, what you're going to be writing about. So I recommend that you create an outline of what you've been up to for the last 3, 4, 5 years, yourself personally, your family, your kids, if you got kids, your spouse, if you got a spouse, what's been going on in your world, the good stuff, the not so good stuff. At the time that I'm recording this, we're just kind of out of the pandemic. So what happened during the pandemic, the good, the not so good, and always leave on a positive note. And here's an important point. Unless most people know that you're full-time into real estate, don't even mention real estate in this catch-up part until you do the transition message. Just talk about life in general. You can talk about work if you've got a 9 to 5 and that sort of thing, but keep it generally positive. Does that make sense? So that's what you need to talk about and come up with a quick little outline there. All right. So what's coming next? Well, first of all, hopefully you're getting value out of this. If you're enjoying this little mini course, then if you could do me a huge favor and leave me an honest rating and review, I would truly appreciate that. I'm not asking you to leave me a 5-star unless you think it deserves that. Leave me an honest rating and review wherever you're consuming this. If you're on iTunes, you can do it there. If you're in Spotify, wherever it is that you are, an honest rating review would be very, very much appreciated. And also, if you know anybody else who's looking to start raising capital, if you think this would be beneficial for them, do me a favor, and send them a link to this episode. All right? Very good. So what's coming up next? Well, we're in this launch phase. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is showing you a stealthy way to get a bunch of investor meetings set up right out of the gate. And here's the beautiful thing. This is the shortcut to raising capital quickly, and it's a way to do it without any pressure on you or the other person. I call this the Ninja Capital Strategy. And episode number 5 is going to explain our ninja way of getting prospective investors keen to look at your presentation while taking all of the pressure off of both of you. So that's what's happening on the next episode. Cut. I want to make sure that you've got some tangible to-dos from participating in this little mini course. So here's what you're going to be doing when it comes to this first session, this first creating your Dream 200 list of investor prospects. So don't worry too much about details. Just go ahead and figure out how many contacts you have in the first place. So take your cell phone, take a look at your contacts in there, scroll down to the very bottom. It should give you the total number there. Jot that down. So if it's 250 contacts on your phone or 2,000 contacts on your phone, whatever it is, don't worry about the number. Just jot it down. And then the same thing with your social media accounts. So if you're on Facebook, how many Facebook friends do you have? If you're on LinkedIn, how many LinkedIn connections do you have? If you're on Twitter, how many Twitter whatevers do you have? Whatever your social media is, figure out how many contacts you have there. Don't worry about sifting, sorting, filtering them just yet. Just come up with the number, and that's going to show you that this whole thing of creating a list of 200 prospects is probably going to be a lot easier than you thought in the first place. All right, now let's get you ready for the next step. For our next episode, episode number 2, we're going to take a look at how to create your investor marketing hub. And this is going to be beautiful because this is going to take care of 90% of the work for you. This is going to help you get people educated, qualified, and predisposed to working with you. And this is the second part of this foundational phase of the whole Money Partner formula. So check it out, and I'll see you on the next episode. This episode is brought to you by MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Our Money Partner Formula service allows you to raise all the private capital you need to do all the deals you want while we handle the hard stuff. We offer reliable and affordable done-for-you marketing services that get you investor meetings booked without all the work. So go ahead and check out the website right now, and then feel free to schedule a call with me, and let's take your portfolio to the next level. Again, that's MoneyPartnerFormula.com. Watch investor meetings pop up in your calendar. We handle the rest.